state either supported it or it was clearly that there was sponsored that okay, it is can be. So if you don't want sponsor, at least support was there. Third was, and this is not was, these things are going on after that. These things are from 84 they started and they are going on. Third was complete subservience of administration, law enforcing agencies, and even a section of judiciary to political class. Again, I'll refer, Harsh has written on that in Communal Combat, you must be remembering in 2002, I'll refer to that. Then third was, state itself becoming a party to the denial of justice. Generally, those who are preparators, they work for denial of justice. Here, state itself became a party that justice is not available. These are four major events which started in 1984, and these have been going on after that. In 1992, demolition of Babri Masjid, all these four factors are there. It was not two-way thing. Babri Masjid was demolished by one section. Tacit support of the state was very much there. And even the center was keeping either mum or somebody is now say that they were actively interested that the Babri Masjid be demolished. 1993, what happened in Mumbai, again, it was not a communal riot in that sense. It was again a massacre of the Muslims, and state tacitly or directly or indirectly was. And 2002 Gujarat, everyone knows what it was. And thereafter it has been from 90s onward, it has been happening, particularly in Odisha, then a bit in Madhya Pradesh and other, systematically against Christians in the name of conversion. The way top people like a priest are killed and others and poor tribals are killed. And that's the situation. So therefore, state and denial of justice is destroyed. Just, you can understand this, as I told you, the communal massacre. No, and all these facts are now corroborated by not only civil society reports, but also by the reports of government-appointed commissions and committees. All these facts have been known, and also some of the judges themselves who have been bold to take some of the decisions. Now, for instance, just for each, I'll just give you one or two instances and then so. Now, there is ample, the reasons are, in fact, I'll quote Harsh in an article which he wrote after Gujarat massacre in this issue, one of the issues of communal combat which you people bring out. He wrote, until the late 1980s, there was an unwritten agreement in our polity that even if politicians inflamed communal passions, the police and administration would be expected to act professionally and impartially to control the riots in the shortest possible time and to protect innocent lives. This was up to early 1980s. There were several failures in performance and minorities were targeted in many infamous riots, and the rules of the game were still acknowledged and on the majority of instances adhered to, which is why the higher civil and police services were regarded to be the steel frame vital to the preservation of the plurality of the country. The 1980s saw the breaking of this unwritten code, which led to the corrosion and near collapse of the steel frame. It became frequent practice for the higher civil and police authorities, that means particularly SDMs and the collectors, and on the other hand, the SPs and above, to be instructed to actively connive in the systemic killing of the minority community by delaying, sometimes by several days, the use of force to control riots. Local state authorities complied and rioters were left unrestrained by the state power for their orgy of mass murder, arson and plunder. Civil and police authorities today openly await the orders of their political supervisors before they apply force, so much so that it has become popular perception that indeed they cannot act without the permission of their administrative and political supervisors. So this is exactly which started in 1984 and it is happening systematically till then. There's no change in that in spite of a lot of noise by the civil society. Okay. Then what you find is that there was a lot of reports created by committees headed by none else but Chief Justice, a former Chief Justice of India, Justice Sikri, many others, PUCL, PUDR, and so many others, the journalists like Kuldeep Nayyar, and all they very clearly said what has happened, and all of them demanded let there be at least a judicial inquiry into that. The government of India at that flatly denied that there is no need for any inquiry. For 6 months, it was a complete silence. After 6 months, because of a necessity of political settlement with the Akalis, led by Longowal, Justice Mishra Commission was appointed. And Justice Mishra Commission's agenda, what was given in him, it was clearly mentioned that he does not need to find who are the guilty. He was only supposed to find what happened, how it happened, who did it, was kept out of his purview. Okay, so Justice Mishra did whatever he could, but in spite of that, he had to say that there are possibilities that Congress people or some, or he said there was no organized effort, but he has to accept that there was certain political parties, including Congress, which were involved in that. And he suggested that certain committees be appointed to find them out. And for that, immediately after this report, Justice Mishra was appointed the first chairman of National Human Rights Commission. And some years back, he was a Congress nominated member of Rajya Sabha. So this is what state does. Okay. Then after a few years again, somehow at that time, BJP was in, NDA was in power, but little coalition was little stable, and people like Kuldeep Nayyar were in Rajya Sabha. So they made a noise for so many things. And then BJP, of course, for its own interest, because they wanted, not Muslim at that time, Sikh votes for that. So they accepted appointment of another commission, and Nanavati Commission was appointed. And it so happened, I don't know why Nanavati is famous for this. Only 2 days back again, another extension about Gujarat has been given. So he has been given another extension for Gujarat case. So same thing happened with the case of 19th extension. That's what I'm saying. 9 years already. 9 years. And in that case of 6 also, he took time. And by the time he submitted his report, Congress was back in power in 2005. Okay. And what the government at that time, it is compulsory for the government to submit a report to the parliament within 6 months. So on the last day of the 6th month, the report was submitted in the parliament because Nanavati has by name mentioned certain Congress bigwigs like Jagdish Tytler, Sajjan Kumar, Arjun Das, and some others. He said, HKL Bhagat, that the prima facie evidence shows that these individuals were involved. By name he had to mention this. But then again, the action taken report of the government said this, that. But then again, because of the civil society's noise and all that, both Tatler and Sajjan Kumar had to resign. But as far as criminal cases against them were concerned, finally, ultimately, they had to file a case against Sajjan Kumar, which till today is lingering in the courts. And a minor 2 or 3 people have been already convicted because of, again I quote, boldness of certain judges. And for your kind information, last year, two of the persons who were convicted by the courts for participation in riots for life term, the government of Delhi recommended that they be released because of their good behavior in the jail. Fortunately, the Lieutenant Governor of Delhi stood and the persons have not been released, but the government of Delhi recommended their release because of the good behavior, though they might have massacred so many people. So that is the state of justice in happening. Now, again, I'm just quoting from the, because that's what Titsa has said is important. What judges are saying, and again, interestingly, because these courts starts in the first session judge. These cases don't go directly to High Court, Supreme Court, and session judges are easily transferred from one court to the other. And all these cases, conveniently, whenever certain situation reached some place, the judges were either conveniently transferred, or the cases, because already there is a provision of transfer of case from one bench to other bench. So, just 2-3 I'll quote. No, this is what additional session judge, in one of the cases, he says, in November 1984, within the first week after the assassination of Mrs. Gandhi, more than 3,000 Sikhs were brutally murdered on the streets of Delhi by the lumpen elements in the full view of the police force, under the very nose of the powerful central government. I'm not saying, it's additional session judge. The police not only failed to protect the poor and innocent persons, but showed total inaction in apprehending those who were responsible for this orgy of violence. However, after much hue and cry by the victims and publicity by the national and international media, the government went on appointing commission and committees one after the another. The crime had taken place in 1984. The report of the crime was with the state and its law implementing agency by November 1980 itself. The investigation continued in these cases for about 10 years without there being any investigation done by anybody. For 10 years, no investigation. The trial of these cases started in November 1995 after Alana years. Charge sheets against few for 5. The criminal law justice system in this country totally failed the justice. Criminal law justice failed the justice. While the criminal law justice system moved at the snail's pace and had no calendar to keep, the death kept its calendar, and Santokh Singh, whose 3 sons were brutally murdered by the rioters, died because he was a witness. So witnesses are either died, eliminated, or forgetting. So this is happening. Just last one. After all these pressures, finally, Prime Minister Manmohan Singh was forced to apologize. And he said that certain measures will be taken. And in that, certain measures were also taken that for rehabilitation and all those types of things. Out of those measures of rehabilitation, what has been done? A few people have been given cash compensation. Said that either this question of these victims living in Tilak Vihar, they were promised that somebody from their family will be given a job. About 2 months back, some journalists from RTI asked a question that how many of them have been given jobs. Imagine, nil. 2005, Prime Minister is saying in the Parliament, and government of Delhi said we will give jobs, this, and till today not a single person has been given a job. So what is the plight? And therefore Harsh was discussing with me this morning, and he mentioned it. What is the plight of those 700 widows trying to, no justice to them? Justice in 3 types. One is that is apology enough? The people say the Prime Minister has apologized. So is apology enough in these types of cases? You rape a woman and then say, I'm sorry for that. You kill a person, then I say, I'm sorry for that. We demolish a mosque, you say, I'm sorry for that. And the government of India says, we feel bad about that. We are ashamed. So this is, no justice has been done to those Tilak Vihar women till today in terms of convictions. Second, more important than, no justice has been done to those women by providing any type of reasonable livelihood. To them, no. The children, particularly the boys of these families who live always under a psychological fear. Second, without a proper job, what they become? They are very easily targets for terrorists. Okay, we will give you the justice. Join us. So they are a ready fodder for these terrorists who are always prepared that this system cannot provide you justice. We are there to provide justice. Join us. Or many of them, this Harsh has seen in himself. A lot of them in Tilak Vihar, now they are going to drugs. And when they are going to drugs, then they become petty criminals. So this is another form of justice which is being denied, that is a total denial of any rehabilitation to the victims of this communal massacre. Third is that unfortunately, political class is politicizing this. You killed, they killed you, give us the votes, we will protect you. They killed you, we apologize, give us votes, we will protect you. So whenever Congress is in power, opposition says they are the killers. And when NDA was power, till today say, when they were power, what they did justice. So each one is trying to make, and they bring them on streets, or for demonstration in buses. They have every right to, but they bring them as a group to raise slogans against other political parties. So again, it's a serious process of denial of justice to these types of victims. And unfortunately, again, I'll try to bring this issue before this house, that unless all minorities join the hands of civil liberty activists, those who are taking the cause of all minorities, not we ourselves, and particularly I'm sorry about my own community, because 1984 they felt we are a part of larger and we are a great community, never realizing that we are also a minority. And after 84, 90s, again Sikhs have forgotten this. And now many times I say that Sikhs are Hindus in general, they are common against the Muslims, which is again very unfortunate. We have to take care that unless this idea, whosoever is giving this idea of Bahujan, that all minorities, all Dalits and marginalized sections of the society, including women, they all feel that we are a collectivity as victims and we have to stand together. Otherwise, the system, this party or that party, they will keep on playing their games and will also be under threat. Today one community, tomorrow another community, and every community keeps on saying that we are safe because we have not been targeted. Thank you very much.
You know, I'd particularly like us to give a big hand to Dr. Narang and Mr. Fulka, because many of us were there on 3rd and 4th November in Delhi this year when 28 years of the massacre was being commemorated. And I can't tell you what guts it took, because there were so many angry young Sikh men who were saying, and others who were saying, why are you asking us to fight for justice? There is no justice in this country. So please let us find another way. And here was this valiant band of 8 or 10 of them who were saying, no, we don't have any other way. We have to choose the non-violent way. We have to choose the constitutional way. And while the youngsters were lighting candles, there was anger. And there was no conviction in the struggle for justice. And that was very sad to see, very, very sad to see. John has been so much more than a kind of crusader for the rights of Christians, not just in Kandamals, but all over the country. I just want to point out 2 things, friends, before I invite John. In 84, on the back of the carnage, the Congress party went into election mode. And in December 1984, fielded all the 4 persons whose names were taken by Dr. Narang, Bhagat, Sajjan Kumar, Lalit Makan and Arjun Kumar, as leading candidates from Delhi. All of them got more than 61 or 62% of the vote. More than Modi has got in Gujarat. So every time we are asked this question about electoral democracy versus constitutional democracy, the question is, it's not the first time that mass murderers have been used or majoritarian democracy has been used. Same story about Madhukar Sarpotdar in Bombay, Manohar Joshi and Gajanan Kirtikar. No different. They were fielded in 95 and they won with thumping majorities, and so was the BJP.
Time-bound address with a footnote to Professor Narang's statement. The Congress got more than 400 seats. And now it is a documented fact that many of those seats were there because of an RSS BJP directive for everybody to vote for the Congress immediately after the massacre of the Sikhs. The Congress, the BJP, many of the OBC parties merge into each other seamlessly when it comes to these things. And I am not a Christian activist. I was born a Catholic and can't undo that damage. But in my 43 years of journalism, the first 20 were spent covering 200 separate acts of communal violence in this vast country, including Maharashtra, of course. Most of them were violence against Muslims. My last active participation was covering the 1984 violence, from the time that we could spare from rescuing our own Sikh employees, including journalists. So I stand before you not as a Christian activist, but just somebody who is deeply distressed, totally exhausted. This is not a question of competitive communalism.